The real reason I wanted to track Rick Granati down is because of this movie, Austin Butler, Tom Hanks, and it is Elvis, and it really will debut in just hours at that Cinemark Theater here in Center Township, and of course that great brand around the region. This is the one that everybody is raving about, Priscilla Presley, Lisa Marie, her daughter. So all of the members of his family are in on this, and they say that it's the best biopic in years. I just want to ask you about Elvis Presley. Why, all these years later, he's been gone since 1977. It's 2022, and they're saying his name is as big now as it was when he first came onto the scene in the Louisiana Hayride era, back during Sun Records in the 50s. Why has this guy just been able to transcend the hands of time?
Concept of character.
Really?
But the thing is, Elvis is one among many. He was a victim of success. Success is so foreign to the human lifestyle. Most people, it blows their mind. He was the king of rock and roll. He lived in a bubble. A lot of things he wasn't even aware of because he was just surrounded by his inner circle, never ventured out. He didn't even really know if he could do arenas and stadiums like the Beatles. He asked my friend Pete Bennett, and Pete assured him he could. He thought the Beatles wiped him out.
Yeah, tell everybody about Pete Bennett and the connection. Go ahead.
Well, Peter Bennett was the world's #1 promotion man, and he helped Elvis come back with Suspicious Minds. But Peter Bennett said when he went to the Las Vegas show, Elvis Presley requested him to be there, had him in the front row. After the show, he invited him backstage, and by Elvis's request, they took a picture, the only picture taken that night of Elvis. No cameras were permitted in the building, and I have a copy of it with Elvis hugging Pete Bennett, the world's #1 promotion man, and he said, "How did you like the show?" "I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic, Elvis. Couldn't have been better." "Pete, do you think I can do stadiums and arenas like the Beatles?" Absolutely. Elvis wasn't sure. He thought the king of rock and roll would know everything. He's so self-assured, but he really wasn't. He thought the Beatles took everything away from him.
Listen, 31 movies, box office hit, sold, as I mentioned, 1 billion records, continue to sell out arenas, and obviously the Hilton International for years. The great thing about this movie, it's going to be about the upside of Elvis Presley, giving people a glimpse truly what the greatest entertainer was all about, and really the birth of rock and roll and how it began. Last thing, here's a guy that went to the Colonel Tom Parker School of Promotion, how to win friends and influence people. No one promotes better than this guy. What was it about Tom? This guy, he was just, Tom Hanks portraying Colonel Tom Parker. They say it is absolutely tremendous, but what is it about Colonel Tom Parker that made him such a good promoter?
He was a good BSer.
That's it.
Definitely. No doubt about it. Pete said that he was a BSer. He BS'd Ricky Nelson into believing everything as well. But that's what it takes. It's BS is business sense, though. But Elvis, the sad thing is, how old was he when he died?
42.
42 years old.
The same age as his mother, by the way.
It's criminal. There's something on Reels tonight about the life of Eddie Van Halen and about the real cause of his death, the autopsy. It's a victim of success is what caused Eddie Van Halen's death. The pressure, because of the things he had to do to deal with the pressure, it didn't allow the treatments for cancer to really work for him the second time. He, Prince, Michael Jackson, Elvis, Joe Cocker, Jim Morrison, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, it goes on and on and on. Victims of success. We have to warn the young people, don't get caught up in it. We want to save lives, not take them.
You know, he told me he didn't really want to do this interview, but once he gets rolling, folks, he is a plethora, that's our word of the day, of information. Rick Granati of the legendary Granati Brothers. Don't forget David tonight, that jam at Mario's Dockside, and now I'm going to eat a little food. I really just stopped to say hello, folks. Until next time, it's your Pat Pack. Good night from the Wooden Angel in Beer.